Welcome back to the BreakThrough podcast. My name is Omar Muhammad, helping you improve and progress in business and in life. We're in year four. Can't believe it. We are in year four of the BreakThrough podcast. I wanted to come on to share with you what's going to happen with episodes number 4 through 9. We are actually going to take you back to the conference. So you'll hear from individuals who participated in our annual Ride Impact Conference. So in episode 4, you'll hear the welcome, me, as well as you'll hear from Vanessa Bright. She is the founder of the Maryland Reentry Resource Center. Then we'll have a legislative update and inspiration from Thalin Tolman. So you'll hear from that. In episode 5, you'll hear the keynote. In the keynote, I'm interviewing, it's really the BreakThrough podcast. I'm interviewing 3 entrepreneurs who were formerly incarcerated. So you'll hear their story and hear how they're operating their business. Episode 6, we go into, and let me back up. So the conference really focused on what we call path. There's always a new pathway to whatever you're looking to do. If you're looking to build a business, better your life, there's a new path. So each one of those, the PATH, we created a workshop for that. So in episode 6, you'll hear from Chris Taylor. He's with SCORE Service Corps of Retired Executives, and he'll talk about the path to economic growth. Episode number 6, you'll hear from Shay Cook, and she'll talk about access to financial freedom. Episode 8, you'll hear from Dr. Paul Archibald, and he'll talk about transferable skills. And then finally, episode number 9, you'll hear from Tanya Charles, and she'll focus on health and wellness. And then after episode 9, we'll continue our traditional where we'll bring in studio individuals who were formerly incarcerated, who are now entrepreneurs, as well as organizations that are supporting those individuals. So stay tuned. We're in for an impactful year. Look forward to hearing from you. And as always, if you're interested in being a guest or looking to recommend a guest, please email me, omar@edacmorgan.com. And that's omar@edacmorgan.com. Until we see each other again, continue to improve and progress. Peace.
This workshop is going to provide guidance and practical insights that will enable you to prioritize and enhance your overall well-being. Ooh, I need that. Tanya Charles is a licensed clinical professional counselor and is experienced in compassion therapist with over 15 years in the field. Her dedication to helping others has led to her work with diverse age groups, including children, adolescents, and adults, across various settings such as state prisons, addiction treatment centers, outpatient clinics, and private practice. Her information is in our resource guide, which is available in the expo area. And Tanya, thank you for joining us, and I'm going to send it over to you.
All right, thank you. You can hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you okay.
Okay, great. I feel like
I don't know if you haven't shared your screen yet, right?
Oh, no, not yet. I'm about to share my screen.
All right, I'm going to.
Okay.
I'll wait till you get up and then I'll.
Okay, sure. Yep, I'm getting ready to share it now. I feel like I'm a little bit lagged, but that's okay.
Yeah, there is just lift. You're fine. Don't worry about it. There's a slight delay on the opposite side, but it works. It all works out.
Okay. Great. Oops. Okay, I forgot to. I have to click share actually.
Huh?
I said I have to actually click share. Can you see that now?
Yeah. Hold on one second. Let me pull it up. Okay. Can you see it on your end?
Yep. I'm sharing my screen. I just want to make sure you can see it.
Yep, I can see it.
Okay, great.
Mhm.
So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here today. So today we're going to be talking about a topic that is crucial to our well-being as individuals reintegrating into society, and that is mental health. So what we will be covering will be understanding mental health, promoting mental health, coping mechanisms, and emotional regulation, planning for successful integration, and then, we'll conclude. So it's a pretty short little blurb. And like Janine had mentioned, I am a LCPC, licensed clinical professional counselor. I've been a therapist for over 10 years. I work in various with various age groups. Early in my career, I really only wanted to work with children. So adolescents and adults was not in nowhere in my trajectory at all. So now I only work with adults, and on rare occasions, I will work with teens. I do still love working with teens, but schedule permitting, it's a little bit difficult to include them in as my case. And like Janine said, I have worked in various settings such as state prisons, addiction residentials, outpatient mental health clinic, and now in private practice. So I've been in private practice for over 7 years now. And just a little bit more about me. I grew to love psychology from my psychology class my freshman year in college. I still remember my professor, Dr. Proctor, and really, the Psychology 101 class, it shaped my love for psychology and curiosity for human behavior. I'm an introvert, so that means I gain my energy from solitary activities. So what's interesting as a therapist, it requires a lot of social interaction. So by the end of my day, I am spent and tired, so I need to be able to gain my energy from solitary time. I love to laugh. I will watch reruns of past shows that I find funny, and I love stand-up comedy. I played basketball in high school and college. Not a lot of people know that unless you really personally know me, but I played basketball in sixth grade, and that's where my love of the sport really began. And I went hard until college. And I love using my creative skills. As you see in this picture, it's me in a sewing machine that I taught myself to use during the pandemic. And really, I created another business because it started off as a hobby because I needed an outlet as a therapist for providing mental health services to people. I needed an outlet, so I decided to tap into more creative side, and it just turned into a business. All right, so when it comes to understanding mental health, we will be talking about defining mental health, common challenges, and the stigma when it comes to seeking mental health. Um, so, mental health, it refers to our emotional, psychological, and social well being. It's about how we think, feel, and act in our daily lives. When we have good mental health, we can cope with challenges life presents, maintain positive relationships, and enjoy a sense of fulfillment. It's important to note that mental health is not just about the absence of mental illness. Um, it encompasses the presence of positive factors contributing to our overall well being. So, as individuals returning into society, there are many, you may face unique mental health challenges. So, the experience of incarceration may have a profound impact on our well being. We may encounter increased levels of anxiety, depression, and post traumatic disorder, also known as PTSD. Um, these challenges can arise from various factors such as social isolation, the stigma associated to being incarcerated, or limited access to our mental health services. So unfortunately, um, there is often a stigma surrounding mental health, which creates barriers to seeking help. So this stigma may make us feel ashamed or afraid to reach out for support, but it's essential to break these barriers. So seeking help is not a sign of weakness, like I tell my clients often, and but it's a courageous step towards healing and growth. And so something I often tell my clients is that the fact that you're being courageous enough to tell me what's going on in your world, to open up and to share, that takes a lot of courage to be able to work on growth and to be able to work on self. So it's great to, what I like to do as a therapist is to advocate the destigmatization of mental health and to create a supportive environment. And I also like to encourage others to do the same thing too, that seeking mental health services is not something to be ashamed of and afraid. It's helpful when other people are also saying the same thing. All right, so moving on to promoting mental health. Um, Self-care practices. We're going to be talking about self-care practices, mindfulness and meditation, and developing a support network system. So self-care is vital, plays a vital role in maintaining our good mental health. It involves taking intentional actions to prioritizing our well-being, engage in activities that bring us joy, practicing good nutrition, getting enough sleep, and engaging in regular exercise are all important aspects of self-care. It's essential to find self-care practices that resonates with you personally and then you integrate them into your routines. Something I often like to tell my client, another thing I like to advocate is self-care. And self-care is a lifestyle choice that you choose to make. So when I say that with the last bullet point, find a self-care practice that resonates with you, find an effective and healthy self-care that you find that you'll be able to do that speaks to you, that you can see yourself incorporating into your routine. So I will tell my clients, is it in the morning time? For example, if you're going to be exercising, will it be in the morning time? Will it be in the afternoon time? Will it be in the evening? Will it be after you, if you have children in your family, will it be after when you have everything settled with them and you will practice the self-care, but figure out where in the day or time that you can incorporate a self-care practice so that it's a lifestyle thing and not something that you just do for a time. Okay. So, mindfulness and meditation. When people think of mindfulness, what are some things that may pop up in your head? Because people have a tendency to have, uh, I guess, an image when it comes to mindfulness. And it's interesting to hear the feedback from my clients. But I want to say that mindfulness and meditations are powerful techniques for reducing and enhancing focus and cultivating emotional resilience. The presenter, Dr. Archibald, I don't want to screw up his name, but he mentioned something about emotional resilience and emotional IQ, right? And so mindfulness and meditation is one way to be able to promote that and cultivate that. So mindfulness involves being present, fully present in the moment without judgment. And a lot of times I like to emphasize with my client is that when you are engaging in mindfulness activity, try not to judge what is happening. Meaning, try not to judge the fact about you can't stay focused. You can't seem to get it right. You're just engaging in the here and now without these judgmental thoughts. Um, and so you can start by taking a few minutes each day to focus on your breath or engage in a body scan. There are also numerous resources available, such as mindfulness apps or guided meditation recordings that can support your mindfulness journey. We will look at an example of a mindfulness app that I like to, I can't say it's a mindfulness app, but of an app that I like to suggest to my clients when it comes to engaging in effective coping mechanisms. Um, One example that I can think off the top of my head is Calm and 10% Happier. Now, some of these apps may require a subscription. YouTube is a great resource for guided meditations and guided mindfulness activities. So you can find plenty of resources on YouTube. Okay, so here's one example of an app. It was created by, it's called CBTI Coach. It was created by the Veterans Affair for veterans who had difficulty with insomnia. And, you know, actually, one of my clients found this app and they suggested it to me years ago. And so I was going through it and sometimes use it personally. And I was like, this is a really great app. It doesn't require, it's not a paid subscription, it's absolutely for free. So any of the activities that they have in this app, you can use it for free. And we'll take a closer look at it a little bit later. Okay, so when it comes to another thing to consider for reintegration being successful in reintegrating to society is building a support network. So it's crucial for our reintegration journey, surrounding ourselves with positive influences and supportive individuals can provide guidance, encouragement, and accountability. So you want to find people that are going to keep you accountable with your goals or even acclimating into society. Um, Identify mentors, friends, or family members who can be part of your support system. Additionally, explore community organizations, reentry programs, or support groups that offer resources and a sense of belonging. Example is these organizations, this conference. Like this is an example of an organization that you can be part of to be able to have a support network so that you're not so isolated. So remember that you don't have to go through this process alone. All right, so when it comes to coping mechanism, we will be talking about stress management, CBT, and emotional regulation. Okay, so stress is a common experience, especially during times of transition. Uh, Effective stress management is crucial for our mental health. So we're going to explore some techniques such as deep breathing, progressive muscle. So examples of stress management techniques can include deep breathing exercises, progressive muscle relaxation, engaging in relaxing hobbies, or activities that promote relaxation. Additionally, practicing good time management skills and prioritizing self care can reduce stress levels. Okay, so cognitive behavioral techniques. It's a technique that's often used by clinicians or programs to be able to work on our thinking patterns. So our thoughts and beliefs have a powerful impact on our emotions. Cognitive behavioral techniques can help us manage and reframe negative thought patterns. One such technique is cognitive restructuring, which involves identifying and challenging negative, irrational thoughts and replacing them with more positive, realistic ones. By questioning the evidence, alternatives, and potential outcomes, thoughts, our negative thoughts, we can develop a more balanced and helpful perspective. So, as a therapist, CBT is a technique that I quite often use. And like I mentioned to my clients, the whole point of CBT is to be able to identify thoughts that are not helpful and that are not useful to you in moving forward or moving past stressors, issues, trauma. CBT is a way to be able to identify thoughts that aren't helpful and to be able to reconstruct them to more useful thoughts. So let's take an example. So let's take a look at an example. So Max, so let's meet Zach, who's reintegrating. He's struggling with negative thinking styles, and he finds himself constantly having thoughts such as these. So I should have my life completely figured out by now. I should have a stable job and be financially secure. So that's a negative, unhelpful thinking style. So a way to construct would be I'm in the process of rebuilding my life, and it's okay if I haven't figured everything out yet. I'm actively working towards securing a stable job and financial stability. So that is one example. So let's take a look at another example. Oop, let me go back. Trying to make sure I go back to where it was. Okay. So the next one is I feel like I'll never be able to rebuild my life after being in prison. My emotions are telling me that I'm lost cause and will always be defined by my past mistakes. So a way to reconstruct this negative, unhelpful thought pattern would be to uh, Okay. So a way to instruct that is I acknowledge that rebuilding my life after being in prison may feel challenging at times. However, I recognize that my past mistakes do not define my entire future. I am capable of creating a new path for myself and embracing opportunities for growth and change. Okay, so these are two examples of how to reconstruct your negative thinking. And again, when it comes to your thinking style and mindset, how you think definitely affects what you do and how you will uh, move into move about into society. And so, what I like to mention to my clients is that as a person who struggled with negative thinking for a long periods of time, reconstructing your thought takes a lot of time, dedication, and consistency. So part of therapy is if you're seeing a therapist who uses the CBT technique, what the therapist will help you to do is to point out thoughts that aren't helpful, and then find ways to help you to reconstruct it so that it's more useful for you. And I'm trying to see if there's any other. Oh, there's the last one. Nope, I guess it's not showing. All right, so let's take a look at, let me start all over. So with the CBTI Coach app that I mentioned earlier, we're gonna take a look at what it looks like. I did a brief recording of what it looks like when you download and navigate through the app. So you can see here, there's the sleep diary, there are the create new sleeping habits, quiet your mind, prevent insomnia in the future. We're going to explore the quiet your mind. So here you can choose a tool. There's the bedtime stories, there's the ambient sounds, there's a deep breathing, change your perspective, the guided imagery. And again, this is all for free, which is what's so great. There's the body scan, and here's an example of the guided imagery, the beach. And I don't know if you can hear it, but and so here's the deep breathing. Okay, and so here is the change your perspective. And what it has are like things. So I've been through worse before and made it through safely. Let's try another one. Nightmares are disturbing, but they're not real. I am safe. I am strong. I am safe now. That's an example of the change your perspective. And there are some books here. Now, of course, all the books that they have there, there aren't many, and it probably might not be of interest, but there's some books that I guess these are some books that you can probably listen to as you are, as something just to kind of maybe just to relax when you're getting ready to go to sleep, just to have to play, just to kind of get out of your head. So this is it. So like I said, CBTI Coach app is a great app and it's for free. You can download it from Google Play Store or your App Store if you have iPhone. And like I mentioned, there are other apps like Calm and 10% Happier, which has some great resources. But I know that some of these apps does require a payment of some sort. Okay. Okay, so let's talk about emotional regulation. It was mentioned prior to in the presentation before. So emotions are a natural part of natural part of being human, and learning to regulate them is crucial for our mental health, for our mental well-being. So by developing emotional regulation skills, we can effectively navigate our emotional experiences. Techniques such as journaling, talking to a trusted friend or a therapist, engaging in creative outlets like art or music can help us express and process our emotions in a healthy and constructive manner. So developing emotional intelligence, which involves self-awareness, empathy, and communication, also plays a role in managing our emotions. Um, And just like with CBT, just like with negative thinking and challenging that, being able to regulate emotions is something that can be difficult for some people. I have clients who find it very difficult to be able to not pop off, as they say, to not get so angry. And again, that has like something I like to mention to my clients, if it has to do with mood disorders, the awareness is being aware of how your symptoms are affecting you and to be able to regulate your emotions as effectively as you can. Being consistent with therapy, and or if it requires medication management, that's what you'll need to do to be able to help regulate yourself, to then be able to help regulate how your emotions are. And not keeping it bottled in, which is why you need a support network and ways to be able to effectively do that. Okay, so planning for successful reintegration. We'll talk about setting realistic goals and identifying resources. Oh, so setting realistic goals provides us with a sense of direction and purpose during reintegration process. So it's important to identify both short-term and long-term goals that align with our aspirations and value. Consider aspects such as your employment, education, relationships, and personal growth. And what I mean by that is like when it comes to your goal setting, these are examples of areas where you can think about what goals that you want to work on in areas such as education, employment, relationships, and personal growth. Break down larger goals into smaller, manageable steps and celebrate milestones. Um, so, when it comes to your goals, something I also like to tell my clients a lot is that if you find yourself not reaching your goals, you may have to ask yourself, is this goal too large? Are there ways I can be able to make it smaller and more manageable so that I can be able to attain that, right? Um, an example I can think of is a client who wanted to clean out a room that is connected to negative memories, right? Her husband passed, and a lot of the belongings was in that room. So when it came to wanting to clean that room, it was painful for her. And so I mentioned to her, like, notice how that makes you feel. Do you notice how the body sensations that you have, that you're not feeling motivated? That's an indication to you that maybe that the goal of clean out this room is too large for you. How can we make this a smaller and more manageable goal? So I suggested let's just simply take a piece of paper and write out what you want to do in that room. And then you tackle them one at a time. And so the first step to that goal was writing out the things that you want to do. And when I asked her, how does that feel when you think about doing that goal versus I need to come into this room and clean? How does that feel? And she was able to notice a visible difference between what it felt like to with the brain as far as clean this room versus just writing out what you want to do. That felt better to her. And I said, pay attention to how that feels to you and then how that motivates you. And then you will work on tackling the next step. And so that's what I love about when it comes to tackling goals is paying attention to what seems realistic and what's manageable. Okay. And so when it comes to resources it's essential to be aware of the resources that are available um, during reintegration. Explore vocational training programs if necessary, educational opportunities, or skill building workshops that can enhance employment and prospects and personal development. Research local community organizations, counseling services, or support groups, and that specifically cater to the re-entering into society. Accessing mental health services and counseling is also crucial to our well-being. So take time to understand the available resources and how to navigate the healthcare system to access the support you need. I didn't provide this a list of organizations that provide mental health services, but I by the time the recording is on the website, I'll provide a list and kind of a walkthrough of organizations that provide mental health services and how to navigate that. And that is it for me. So thank you for listening. And this is a way to get in contact. And like I mentioned today, um, when it comes to reintegrating into society, consider how mental health plays a role into it, how your thinking and mindset has anything to do with it.
All right. Thank you, Tanya.
Yes.
Uh, so, do we have any questions? Also, we also had Crystal. Thank you for those great resources she put in the system. That said, the VA also has a mindfulness coach, and she put the link in for that, as
Yes,
well
that's
as
great.
the CBTI coach. She put a link in. But thank you for those great, uh, definitely great resources. That's amazing. Does anyone have any questions? That was some great information. Even for me, definitely going to use. I like that app though. The app was
It
great.
is very nice. It is really nice. One of my clients found it and I've stuck to it because like I said, some apps does require for you to pay, but this is for free and it's
Yeah.
it's it's awesome.